We need to make serious and substantial cuts, and we also need to be willing to compromise. Cuts and compromise needs to be the dialogue that is occurring across the aisle and with each other. I have great respect for some of my colleagues on the other side that say that we have a structural debt problem, we've got to get to it. Certainly we do. But it is completely wrong that we would do massive, massive cuts all in one fell swoop right now with our economy in the position that it is. That would cause just as big a crisis as our failure to deal with our long-term structural debt. So that's where the compromise part comes in. The House's resolution, frankly, was not smart in the way they did the cuts. No one in any business would take all of the cuts out of one small sliver of their business. They would look at their entire business to try to find cost savings. It was not smart. All the pain was in one place, and they are killing off the very part of our budget that has the best chance of increasing economic activity in this country. The building of roads and bridges, the educating of our kids, the research and the science and development. On the other hand, the Senate has not gone far enough. It is frankly disappointing to me. I still think that there are way too many people in denial around here about the nature of the problem and how serious it is. And I don't think we're demonstrating to the American people that we understand the nature of the problem when we present an alternative proposal with such a small number of cuts. So really, the sweet spot is somewhere in between these two approaches. We need to look at all of the programs, put it all on the table, and we need to be willing to compromise. Let me point out a couple of places where I think some of these compromises could come easily. Let me just give one example that came up in a hearing yesterday so people understand that there are real savings. We've got a Pentagon that we can't audit. We haven't been able to audit for decades. And it is frustrating that we don't have business systems in place that allow transparency and that allow wise choices in terms of the expenditure of dollars. In a hearing yesterday in the Armed Services Committee, I talked with the head of the Navy and the Marines about a system that they're putting in place to track equipment. Good idea, right? We want to track equipment. Now, the Army is putting in a system to track equipment. Now, here's the rub. They share equipment. Now, would you think that these two systems are going to talk to each other? Oh, no. No, they've been done separately. They don't talk to each other. Different software. We're going to have to spend more money for a mechanism so the two systems tracking equipment, sometimes the equipment they're sharing, so that we can at least see what's going on. And by the way, each one of these systems is billions of dollars. We could save billions of dollars by just saying to the Army and to the Marines, use the same software. It's got to be across the board. It's got to be more substantial than $6.5 billion, and we all have to be willing to compromise. I will be voting no on both proposals for that reason.